Hello, you beautiful nerds. Welcome to the Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all of the popular art that we love. Also, we do it drunk. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and brother Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing? Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers if you got the beers, or whatever you're drinking on tonight.
Or if you're watching your carbs, if you got tequila, shout out to you.
Yeah, I'm on a diet, so I'm just drinking tequila. Today we have a very special show for you. We are talking about episodes 6 and 7 of the new HBO Max series, The Last of Us. And today we have a very special guest to help us talk about it. She is a film/communications scholar, explores the weird, worrisome, and wonderful across the media environment. Guys, please welcome to the show the wonderfully talented Mariana of the Morbid Zoo YouTube channel. Welcome, Mariana.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Of course. You have such an interesting insights on horror with your great videos on The Thing and The Witch and Edward Cullen. So I thought it would be fun to have you on to talk about this horror show that's sweeping the nation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's like I told you in our brief email exchange. Like, I don't know, man. Like that the last episode of Attack on Titan, or at least the last episode of the penultimate season of Attack on Titan, came out and just ruined all my plans and all my all my understanding and all my analysis of it. And I've never recovered, so I don't feel like I have an outlet to talk about shows that are still in progress. It's difficult to come up with something that's heavily scripted about something that isn't done. So this is a real treat.
It's great to have you on. Before we get into each episodes, we'll just do initial thoughts. What were your initial thoughts on these last two episodes, and how are you enjoying the series so far?
I like it a lot. I really, really loved the first few episodes a lot. I thought they were really, really good. And this the seventh one, I think, brought it back to somewhere that I'm liking the direction they're going with focusing on characters other than Joel. My kind of, I don't know. It almost feels as though the writers got so caught up in this relationship between Joel and Ellie that it was self-evident to them, and they felt like they didn't really it seems like there are some aspects of their relationship that are missing. Like why does he care about her so much? Right. You know what I mean? That's something that doesn't quite ring true to me, especially since he already has this relationship with Tess beforehand. I don't know how much I buy that he's just been incapable of that. This is the first time he's ever felt attached to anybody else. That I don't know. That's right. But I mean, it's a pretty minor complaint. As far as oh my God, just the acting and the writing quality and the set direction, or the set decoration, and I mean all the art direction and the infected are just so gross. And no, I mean it's such a fun show to watch and so beautiful in so many ways. So I really am nitpicking, I guess. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, if you have to find something wrong, that would be the least logical thing out of this whole. I'm currently watching it right now, watching this most recent episode. I've already seen it, but I'm just watching it right now. If I look away or at it, whatever. But yeah, that's the most nitpicky thing, because they pretty much stick to the game. I watched all I can watch and read all I can read on this about this game. So I cheated
without actually playing it.
Yeah, without actually playing it. So I was I've never played this game, but I want to know what happens. I'm just gonna cheat. I'm gonna read the end of the book. So
reading ahead of the class.
So I've been impressed with how this show has just consistently been almost mirror picture to picture, almost shot for shot, frame for frame, what happened in the game. So what we do see that is from the game is directly from the game. So almost down to the costumes. It's crazy. So this episode, still falls right in line with that, and I'm still enjoying myself. I still don't know how I'm gonna judge this entire show at the end, but so far I'm enjoying myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm also enjoying the show so far.
And it's already been greenlit for a second season.
Yeah, second season's already been greenlit, and since they only had 2 games, I'm curious how they're gonna play everything out with these 2 seasons. These last few episodes, the first few episodes were definitely I think the strongest, and then episode 5 I think was just another episode that brought people back in after a couple of episodes where the pacing was a little off, or people complained about different pacing issues, and character motivations, time jumps. But on the whole, I'm really digging the show. And these last 2 episodes, though, it's been a little slow as far as not really action heavy. They're still really emotional and really touching stories. But let's get into it.
Let's talk about what we're talking about.
Let's talk about what we're talking about. Episode 6, Ken. It starts out 3 months after Henry and Sam's deaths. Joel and Ellie reach a small, thriving community in Jackson, Wyoming, where Joel is reunited with Tommy, his brother. Long lost bro. I really liked this moment where they embrace each other, and he's like, "What are you doing all the way out here?" He's like, "I came to save you," which seems kind of hilarious.
Was a funny, sweet, heartfelt moment between brothers, because they were brothers. Just
it was nice.
2 brothers out on the range killing people. Doing whatever they gotta do, just killing everybody.
Doing video game shit,
Yeah, just doing video game shit, hacking up people, stealing stuff, doing cat things. Exactly. That's how Joel and Tommy were. They were just out there, and all of a sudden they're reunited, and it feels so good. I really did feel that scene. I don't know why, but that was a good scene. Save if I didn't like the rest of the whole.
Well, it's
episode,
one of the few times we've gotten to.
Oh,
it's one of the few times we've gotten to see Joel just completely happy with whatever situation he's in. He set out to accomplish a goal, and he fucking accomplished it, and it's done, and he did it, and that's a win, and he never gets those.
Exactly.
So, it's just nice to see Pedro Pascal smile for once.
Even though it's short-lived. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's good to see him happy, even though we know it's not gonna last long. It's not gonna last long because of the way this show operates. I can't believe people actually played this game. People are just sitting around crying, play a video game, just crying every other stage they get to. They complete a goal and they just start crying. I can't believe it.
This seems like a very emotionally taxing experience for a video game. But he does get that very short-lived happy moment. It's funny, weirdly, all I could think of was that moment from Black Sheep where Chris Farley is like, "Brothers got a hug." It was just such a sweet moment. But even though to the show's credit, I was expecting there to be a bunch of zombies show up or raiders show up, and that's what disrupts the happy moment. But it's just more just character. More sibling, more human conflict rather than just big action sequence, big explosion comes through the wall, which I enjoyed. What did you guys think about this?
I enjoy that too. I that's one thing that I really enjoy about this show. That I don't know. As we have this conversation, I'm probably going to be making a lot of comparisons to The Walking Dead, but I think they're appropriate because they're basically the same show in a lot of ways.
It's impossible not to.
And one of the ways in which it truly is. And one of the ways that I think this improves upon The Walking Dead is that it doesn't do that. It doesn't interrupt everybody's day with a zombie attack every time. It feels like a show with purpose. This time the disruption to everybody's day is Joel's trauma and everybody's concurrent trauma, that the scary thing has already happened, and now they have to at any given point there's gonna be a situation where things calm down and you have to, assess your life the way it is. And so now that all this stuff has happened to Joel, he now has to sit and think about how that's affecting him. And that's what ruins everybody's day. That I think is interesting. Where we know there's monsters. Like, we get it. Like, you don't have to keep showing us to remind us that there's monsters. And I like how seldomly the monsters appear in this show. It's always effective, but it doesn't eat the show. I appreciate that.
No pun intended, I'm sure he doesn't eat the show. That's good. I see what you did there. That was pretty good. Zombies. They be eating people. Yeah, no, I said that early in this when we started watching.
It's also dinner time and I'm hungry.
Exactly. I said that earlier in this season. I was like, man, I'm so glad. It was after episode 3. I was like, I'm so glad this show is not just going to be about zombies, because that's what made me not like Walking Dead. So I'm like so refreshed when I see them do episodes like this one, and like episodes like episode 8. Is it episode 8? The Riley episode?
7 episode. Yeah, episode 7 is the
episode 7. Yeah. So yeah, I'm so happy that they're doing it this way. I've heard some people complain about the lack of action or lack of whatever, and I'm like, dude, we've seen that in every zombie. How many times do you want to see a zombie get his head blown off? I mean, how many different ways can we see it?
Exactly.
Yeah, even though the show is like very creative.
Yeah,
about,
well,
like,
that's why everybody was.
That's so great. Go ahead, Mariana.
Sorry, we have a little bit of an overlap on our audio. Yeah, it's fine. But that's why everybody was clowning on Ben Shapiro's take on episode 3 when he was like, "Where are the zombies?" Like, shut up, dude. Do you need to see more of them? Is that let the show be what it's gonna be, and you don't have to like it. You know, it could be not your thing, but like to say that it's like pointless and what are they even dead? They don't even know how to build a zombie show. Shut the fuck up, dog. It's
exactly. You fucking nerds. Shapiro, you hear that? You fucking nerd. Shut the fuck up. If you want more zombies, play the fucking video game, you asshole.
Yeah, you can get that from the video game. And like to your point, like when Walking Dead was at its strongest, at least for me when I was still watching it, I kind of ducked out pretty early on. But when it was at its strongest is when they were like, oh, look at how these characters are affected by this zombie apocalypse. Look at how this world is affected by it and how these characters adapt to that. So that's always more interesting than just like how many ways can you kill a zombie.
How many ways can you kill a zombie?
Not that finding. I mean, not that finding like new and inventive ways to kill zombies isn't like a worthy pursuit.
Yes,
that's super fun.
Right.
But I mean, it also depends on the show, and like like The Walking Dead to me, I mean, that show has a real tone issue, and when it's fun, it's really campy fun, and like like figuring out just like crazy ways to kill zombies, and like different different kinds of zombies. That's always fun, but I mean, it has to be balanced with something. But The Last of Us really isn't that kind of show. Like it's kind of, I don't know, zombies as like as a genre figure. I don't know. It feels like they've kind of gone postmodern, I suppose, in a way, where it's like you can't make a sincere zombie movie anymore. There has to be something added to it. And in this, it's the fungus and how they look and how like disgusting they are. Like I don't think that the traditional zombie disgusts people the way it really used to.
Right. So basically,
that I think this show is adding.
Right. Like the biggest obstacle in episode 6. Is Tommy's unborn child. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, almost the biggest obstacle. Like, for the majority of the episode, the biggest conflict is this unborn child that, Tommy doesn't want to leave because his child is about to be born. He don't want to die because he needs to be here for his kid and his wife. Like, just regular shit. It's like, oh, not like my wife got bit and she's gonna die and I gotta blow her head off in a couple of weeks. So I'm just trying to work this thing out where she's pregnant, see what happens. Like,
Right. Yeah.
it's not something weird that I can't relate to, and I'm not trying to bear that out for 10 episodes or however many. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to see you run from zombies for 10 episodes. So I'm glad they're doing it this way, and I'm glad that. What's her name?
Ellie?
No, the wife.
Marie.
Tommy's wife, Maria.
Maria?
Yeah, Maria.
Maria.
She used to be, what's her name? Tessa?
Tara.
Tara
on True Blood.
on True Blood.
Yeah.
So shout out to her for being a way better actress than she was back then. Because you know what? Shout out to you. I'm doing a shot for you right now, Tara, from True Blood. You did a good job. I'm proud of you because you used to be terrible, and it was good. Good for you.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers to.
Cheers to that. Yeah.
So yeah, speaking of Maria, we found out that Maria's pregnant, and that's like what's kind of holding Tommy there. He doesn't want to take, because obviously Joel is like, well, assumes Tommy is gonna saddle up and help take Ellie to this new QZ that they found out near the University of Kentucky, I think it was.
University of Colorado.
University of Colorado.
Eastern Colorado.
Completely different
Eastern
part of the country. But yeah, and this is also where Ellie learns about Sarah's fate for Maria. That's Joel's daughter died, and that's
almost forgot about her.
Oh, that explains a lot about her. Yeah. The show doesn't let you forget. We have this moment where Joel is just looking at this young girl with curly hair, and he's like, "Oh, is that my daughter? Nah, I'm going crazy."
Maybe he thought it was her mom. We don't even know what happened to her mom. It's never said in the game. It's never said in the show. Maybe he thought it was her mom. But I mean, yes, of course he thought it was his daughter, which is weird, right? I never lost anybody and then looked at and thought that I saw them somewhere, except David Bowie.
It's a little heavy for me as a metaphor. I mean, I don't know about that, but as symbolism, I suppose. To have you, I don't know, have your character see someone in the crowd that looks like their lost loved one is a bit of a cliche.
Right. Yeah.
It's okay. It's well done and whatever, but
yeah,
down.
Yeah. No, I thought it was dumb.
And even in the
stupid.
Even in the the after the behind the scenes stuff where they talk to the creators, one of the writers is yeah, it's supposed to symbolize that, oh yeah, that's it kind of looks like his daughter. It's yeah, man. We kind of got
I know.
Yeah, for real, man.
Kind of got your point across there, buddy.
So my cogent analysis is that it stinks. That was a terrible scene. But what do y'all think about, they did bring up him having, Joel basically had, another heart attack. He basically had 2 heart attacks in this episode. Do you think that's going to come back up?
Panic
attack?
Yeah.
You think it was, it could be panic. He's 53, I guess.
I mean, the
56?
idea, I think, 56, Jesus. Pedro Pascal's not that old, right? He's not 56.
Nah, yeah, he's not.
Think he
right?
is,
no, he's playing a little older, yeah.
Year-old. Yeah.
Because he's in his 40s, right?
Yeah, he's 46.
He's gotta be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Put it in the comments. If you still how
Keanu
old
Reeves
Pedro
is still
Pascal.
out in his
it's
50s
fine.
killing people.
It's fine. What were we talking about? This
Joel.
is my second glass of wine.
This is my third
For
shot.
I was gonna mention Joel and Tommy. This is where Joel admits his. Because there was that not so great scene where we kind of depict his mental health issues, where he thought he sees his dead daughter. But this scene, I think, depicts that a lot better, where Joel has this really honest conversation with Tommy, tells him about Ellie and the Fireflies and her immunity, and gets really real about his state of mind and how he just feels like he's not he's not strong enough mentally or physically to take Ellie to where he's going. I think you were going to say something about his panic attacks, Mario.
Oh yeah, that the idea is that like, oh, he's starting to care about somebody and he just like can't deal, and it you know, makes him freeze or whatever. And I think that's all much more gracefully depicted in that monologue than Tommy, stop it.
Tommy, you gotta relax, Tommy.
I know. And if I open the door, she'll just stand there, and I don't.
I feel you. I feel you. My dog's. Luckily, my dog right now, she's over here asleep. But usually, you can hear her doing interpretive dances in the background.
Yeah, my dog is being a good girl, you know, asleep right here. But is the cat? What a
but I think you're absolutely dead on with the panic attacks, because that's exactly what happens to me when I start caring about somebody. I just fucking God damn it! Just fucking
totally
freeze up, freeze up, and then I see dead people from 20 years ago. I see them, and I'm like, is that dead people? And then fucking.
But I mean, that's like, you know, that's the whole theme of the show pretty explicitly. You know, that's why the third episode is so good. I you know, that like, what do you what kind of vulnerabilities do you put yourself in when you start to care about other people? That, I mean, that's a post-apocalypse scenario is a really, really great environment for that, because you're in constant danger all the time, and it, like, you know, that scenario like gives you an implicit sort of B theme, which I think The Walking Dead actually does relatively successfully, which is, how do you continue to find reasons to keep going even though you know you're going to die? You know,
right.
Like that's just life.
Exactly.
Like, why should I continue to do all this, you know, boring, stupid bullshit and like fall in love and get my heart broken if I'm just going to die? You know,
exactly.
Like that never stops being true.
Whether or not it's so interesting to me that it's like point. It takes, you know, zombie apocalypse for us to come to that conclusion. Like we're watching this on television, and we know that this is maybe possible, you know what I'm saying? Because anything's possible, but it's never happened. And it takes that for us to go, oh yeah, you know, this could be over tomorrow. Like we still were always gonna die, but like.
Right.
It takes this apocalypse.
And you don't know when. Like, you know, you think you might know when, but you don't. You could. And
you don't know how. Right. The only thing that changes in a zombie apocalypse is that you increase your hows you're gonna die. Like,
yeah, exactly. You'll probably have a more interesting death.
Yeah. At the end of this episode, just to like wrap up episode 6, you know, Ellie and Joel, they have like their little confrontation about because Ellie doesn't want to go with Tommy. She feels more safe with Joel. But Joel is just like, he kind of pulls an old Yeller. He's like, go on, get out of here. Just to like make her.
I don't want you anymore.
Which, you know, we've seen this kind of scene a lot.
Oh my
but I
God.
still like, you know, these two actors.
I've seen the numbers. Half of the people watching this are literally gonna have to Google that reference. I'm telling you right now. They don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You should have said Arya.
I mean, that was certainly before our time too.
Yeah, true.
Old Yeller is truly old Yeller.
That's an apt name. What did you guys think of like this sort of like confrontation? Because you know, it is a sincere decision from Joel. Like, he does want her to be safe. I don't feel like it's a selfish decision, but it's still, I don't think, you know. Do you think it was the right decision, you know, to pawn her off to Tommy?
You go first.
No. No. Why would Tommy do it any better than he would? No, he's just trying to get rid of her. Like that I think is the entire sort of like thematic thrust of the episode, is that like he's just trying to push her away, and that like, you know, that's that's not good for her. Like I think that it's kind of important that that it's not really clear whether Tommy would do any better of a job, you know, like he's not any like stronger, smarter, more experienced, or like Joel is demonstrably a better survivor than he is. And so like how does your affection for other people and your cowardice and your inability to deal with those feelings, you know, with courage, like how does that put the people you love in danger? I think that's a good theme, and I don't know that I care how they illustrated it. I didn't quite believe it. It's fine because I get what they're doing and what they're trying to do, but like I don't believe that he would be like that torn up about her yet. I don't think they've spent enough time together. I don't like see like what is it? Why is he so taken with this kid? You know, I just don't quite believe it, you know?
Well, I think just to play devil's advocate, I mean, I think that it's been months at this point that they've been hanging out together. They've hung out like 3 seasons. They've been together like not 3 television seasons, 3
weather seasons.
Yeah. Like, winter is coming. Okay, so winter is came. They've been through like 3 Game of Thrones seasons together, and y'all didn't get that. That just went over y'all's head. Okay,
I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
No, we got it. Fine with sound.
So I feel like that maybe that's where they're just trying to assume, because have the viewer assume, because a lot of this stuff is coming from the game. You know what I mean? Like a lot of this stuff is just like, we gotta make Johnny in Des Moines happy because he's gonna be really upset if he doesn't see this scene in the movie because it's really just dumb. Like it could have just totally been done without. But it's a very heart-breaking, heart-wrenching scene in the game that plays out. I'm really just kind of like myself. I'm kind of like, if they got all these good scenes in these video games, how come they just not making the movies? Oh, we got to do. What happened to, like, remember movies would come out and then they'd have a game for the movie?
Oh yeah, that's kind of the other way around.
Oh man,
like,
that was an era.
That was an
era. Yeah. Like I do think that like a lot of these time jumps, like, you know, like you said, we are 3 months like they have been spending 3 months together and since the last episode, so they have gotten closer, but we haven't seen that. So I think that does have a little bit of a disconnect on just buying their relationship.
And
Yeah,
and I get that. I get that they're, you know, it's been 3 months, whatever, they're closer, I guess. But like, it seems like in order for him to be that shaken up by just caring about another person, it would seem that during that 3 months, maybe something important happened, you know?
Right,
maybe we should have been privy to it.
I gotta say, I like you. She's like, yo, this is not enough time for me to have developed a relationship with a person. This is not good to me. This is not realistic. Like, how did they all of a sudden did they just care? Why would I care about this kid that I didn't care about 15 minutes ago? Like, why would I? Why would I care about children's is children?
There were some I had some similar complaints about House of the Dragon, where like there was probably some really interesting episodes in all the time that they skipped over, which, you know, I like where they ended up story wise, and I'm sure I'll enjoy where they go story wise in this show. But yeah, like yeah, I feel like we probably had some pretty dope episodes in all those months that we just kind of skipped over. And we'll see
that's the
why
fault of
they decided to jump.
Well, just like this show, the source material is the fault there because this is basically what they do in the source material. So, and Fire and Blood is just an account of like, you know how they do the Maester's accounts of whatever.
Right?
So,
yeah,
it's a history.
You know, exactly. So we're lucky we don't have like somebody just telling us about somebody's poops and what they ate.
Yeah,
and,
right.
You know, stuff like
Well,
that.
I mean, I think that's one of the big sort of drawbacks of. And listen, I mean, like, I don't know. I hold I hold filmmakers to pretty high standards because this is their job. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
and do anything
right.
else. So you know, so any kind of like, you know, sort of like writing mishap where it's like, oh, you should have seen this coming. Like, yeah, it's going to be a drawback from adapting a video game that you can't make the audience like actually be in Joel's shoes and, you know, participate in protecting Ellie.
Right.
And they should have seen that coming, you know, that like you can't assume that this person who you know, John Q audience is gonna like have as much affection for Ellie as Joel is, because we are not Joel in this version of the text, you know.
Yeah,
shout out to everybody who played this game, because y'all really were Joel. Like, it's people out there that's like Joel, and then apparently at one point you get to play his daughter Sarah. The first character you play is his daughter. So like you.
Oh, that's interesting.
Man,
so it starts the same.
Oh starts the exact same.
That's
interesting.
That seems mean. Like let's let you start out with this little girl who's about to die. Oh man, that's I mean, it's a really interesting choice. But yeah, at the end of this episode, like Joel and Ellie, they get to this town. They're attacked by raiders. And Joel gets stabbed in the gut, and the episode kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and that's where the seventh episode 7, Left Behind, which is apparently named for a 2014 spinoff DLC of the same name, like where I think it's like,
that's cool.
It's like a DLC from the show where from the game, where I think it's just basically this episode where we get to see Ellie's backstory. But what did you guys think of this episode?
Easter eggs. It feels like Easter time. I don't, you know, what do they call it? Easter? I guess it's just Easter, right? It is Easter. So many Easter eggs.
But yeah, like this is basically another flashback episode, kind of very similar to the Frank and Bill episode, where we see a budding romance.
The gayest episode of all time.
It's a real gay show. I love that.
It is. Yeah, it's like very gay show. It's so dope. Like
it's great.
You know, but the game was, I guess, a very gay game. Like, this is all straight from the game. So
it's canon.
Shout out to the game. It's canon, baby. It's all connected.
Yeah, like this is one of those situations where we probably won't, you know, you don't get as much vitriolic hate from gamers because like all this gay stuff is from
you know what? That's a great. I never thought about that.
So you can't bitch about it.
That's right. You incels, you loved this game before, so don't act weird now.
Yeah, this game was woke. The game was woke, so the show, you can't say it's over woke. But yeah, like I really like this episode. It was an interesting way of showing another way of like this budding romance between two teenagers over, like, you know, their first date in a crazy world. Like we get to see it, like how basically a whole life can be in the post. It's got like the first 30 minutes, the first 15 minutes of Up, but in a post-apocalyptic world. We already saw that episode, but now we see your first date in a post-apocalyptic world.
It was good. I liked this episode a lot. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't understand that it was a flashback for an embarrassingly long amount of time. Like about 20 minutes in, I was like, oh! Yeah.
Oh, God. You didn't have to tell us that either. You just so I appreciate you.
I'm trying to be transparent.
It's like, why is she talking to this guy in this office? You know, Joel is bleeding right now. Just,
listen,
he has more pressing issues.
I thought that maybe a different Fedra faction picked her up, and this is like 3 months later, and she's been like, that was the assumption I was operating under for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Or so.
Fair enough. Like,
No, yes.
when I started the episode,
if you haven't played the game, that's a very like logical, train of thought.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because, like, at the beginning of the episode or at the beginning of flashback, where we see her, running in the gym, for a moment I forgot that she's not. She like. This is post-apocalyptic. She's never lived in a normal world. So this isn't a flashback to when high school was like normal. This is high school in the QZ, where I thought it was really
in communist,
which is military school.
communist Boston. This is communist Boston, Massachusetts. I was like, why they got kids in the army now? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
there's a lot of pretty, I don't know, but like pretty explicit like critiques of capitalist oligarchies and police states and military run systems that I appreciate. That one line from episode 6 that everybody was memeing of like, no, it's a commune. We're communists.
Yes, it's like we're literally communists.
This is what a commune is.
I loved how it hit Tommy. Like, he's a country boy from Texas, and he was like, "Wait a minute,
right?
I'm a communist?
Not
Wait
like
a
that.
minute. Hold on." He literally thought about killing himself in that moment. Then he was like,
Yeah.
"No, wait."
But I'm from Texas.
You can tell this has like been a bad word to him like his whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, well, and I thought it was interesting in this episode how when the principal or whatever his title is talking to her, like his I thought it was a really good bit of writing where his pitch to her of like, oh, you should try to be an officer, like you should go this way,
right.
Is not because he thinks she would be so good at the job and therefore like support the system and look at what a good thing we're doing. Like, his pitch to her is, you can like fuck with everybody else. And everybody, all your bullies, you can like fuck with them, and that's
right.
Like, well,
yeah, it's
be
very
great,
interesting. Very interesting motivation is like, yeah, you could be the person who gets fucked with, or you could be the person who fucks with other people.
Well, that's
like,
that's basically what law enforcement is. Like, that's what law enforcement today is. They it's a bunch of kids who got picked on in high school and middle school, and they. Is everybody still here?
Yeah.
Yo, yeah.
Okay, sorry, Alex froze.
No, and they
on
just
me,
do
and
the
I was
same
like,
shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do the same shit to everybody else when they get older. You know what I'm saying? As someone who was extremely cool in high school, like, and I never picked on
all
anyone.
of us, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know all about that.
No, I know. Honestly, I know that sounded like a sarcasm, but I really was actually cool in high school. But I'm just saying, as someone who was cool, but I never picked on anyone. But I've seen it. I've seen
cool
those
people
guys.
never pick on other people. That's like picking on other. That's why to get political for a second, I guess, like that's part of why our police system is so fucked up to begin with, is because it's a career track that attracts insecure people. Like, either you were picked on or you picked on others, and the reason you pick on others is that's always pathological. Like, you're always doing that for some fucked up reason.
Yeah.
Stemming from your childhood. Like, healthy people mentally go do other shit. They don't want to be cops.
Exactly. There's a third option. There's not just two options. Like be an asshole or be a asshole with a better position. Like that's not a good option for me. I don't want to be an asshole with keys. Like, I don't want to
be an asshole at all.
Exactly. I'm still an asshole. I just want to go do like regular stuff, dog. Like, that's all I want to do. Like, so yeah, that was a good. But you know what though? I did like that he was like, trying to help her. But I think it's coming from like the same place that they're trying to say Joel is coming from. Like, you know, clearly he had lost his daughter and his wife because that's his picture was kind of faded and old. I mean, to me, it looked like he kind of lost his kids or, you know, his family or whatever. So like maybe they just see something in her, in a kid that is born in a time before, born in a time after the zombie apocalypse, and she never got to see that time before, but they remind her of that time before, like, you know what I mean, because she's so smart, because she's like, but little do they know she's the goddamn cure, you know what I mean? Like, this is why she's amazing. She's amazing because she's fucking amazing. Like, there's nothing like it's
that's
not
why she's
actually
the chosen one.
Exactly, she's the chosen one. Somebody get her, what's that? Excalibur. Somebody get that shit. Let her pull the sword from the stone and all that.
She truly is. Yeah, she truly is a chosen one in the classic sense.
Yeah,
it's kind of a very traditional story that way, you know.
Definitely. Yeah, and then we get to see our best friend Riley shows up later. Hops in her. Jumps through her windows, played by actress Storm Reed. Great actress. She's in the show she's in this new movie, Missing, this horror thriller.
She was
in
Idris
Suicide
Elba's daughter in Suicide Squad 2.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
She was really good in that.
That's who she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was proud of myself because I had saw that and I was like, yeah, that's his daughter, right? That's Idris. that's Idris' daughter, ain't it? Sorry, I've been in Alabama. I was in Alabama for a week, so like I'm like, ain't that Idris' daughter? I know her. We went to school together. I know that. I know her.
Yeah, I really liked their relationship together. Like she shows up, tells her that she decided to join the Fireflies, and she returns to sneak Ellie out for the night of her life, quote unquote. And they sneak into an abandoned mall and have a cute little first date. What did you guys think of just like their, the chemistry between the two actors and just like this multi-level date that Riley set up for everyone? I'll let
Ladies
you go first,
first. Ladies first.
I thought it was adorable. I thought it was really good. It had a kind of like sadness about it that I really, really appreciate in shows like this, where it's like in a fair world, they would just like be doing this and not have the zombie apocalypse, hanging over their heads, and like they would just go to the mall and have fun.
Yeah.
That's I think that's the proper counterbalance to something as sort of schmaltzy as watching a love story unfold. It's the same thing that that episode 3 did,
right,
where it's like where there's always this suggestion of how things should be for these people because they're so good, like they're just trying to be humans. That's it. And they should be able to. And it's sad that they can't.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Yo, I gotta ask you, but since we have a real film person on the podcast, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm sorry, Alex, I was just joking. I'm joking. You're a real film person too. I'm the one that's not the real film person. But no, so my question is that how do you feel about I can't remember the girl's name who plays Ellie, but
Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey,
performances, Bella Ramsey. So how do you feel about Bella Ramsey's performance? Because I mean, like she had a very powerful performance on was it Game of Thrones, but but like very small.
Everybody loved Baby Mormont.
Like. But yeah. But yeah, how do you feel about her performance? Because I know how I feel, but I mean, I'm just curious as what you think about.
I think she's great. I think she's really talented. I have no problems with her at all. I think she's like she's really believable as a child to me, which I think is a kind of a feat since she's 19 and not a child at all.
Exactly.
Like, And I think that's, I think it's a matter of good writing and good directing as well, that like, she seems like a kid, like she's annoying,
Yeah.
and she won't shut her goddamn mouth. Like she's not a perfect little angel, you know? She has a really distinctive look. Like, yeah, I think she's a really, really great choice for this. If they're trying to do something, within the realm of like emotional realism, I think she's a really, really good choice. I like her a lot.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I am going out on a limb.
Okay. All right, it was hot take alert.
Hot take alert.
Shoot.
I think she's going to be like new big thing.
You think she's going to be like a, what's her name from Stranger Things?
Yes,
Oh, Millie Bobby Brown?
Millie
Yeah,
Bobby
that
Brown. Millie Bobby Brown. Yeah, yes. I think
the new baby face on the rise.
I think she could be a Millie Bobby Brown, like remember when I famously said that Jonathan Majors was the new Denzel Washington. I said that. I said he's the next Denzel Washington.
You are precisely right. He is. That's
really
exactly what he is.
I mean, I said it. I said, look, Alex, that's the new Denzel. That guy right there.
Yeah,
That's Denzel.
Yeah, you're right. He's definitely going to be one of those guys that gets nominated every year.
I'm so glad that Alex can actually say that. Yeah, well, he actually did say that because nobody would believe me.
Go back and watch every single one of our videos, please.
There are receipts.
So yeah, I just was saying, I just want to say that because I want to give everybody their flowers, right now early. But yeah, I think she's doing great.
For sure.
But yeah, this was like a really well performed episode. Period. Like they're back and forth. Like you can tell that they like. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if either one of these ladies are like actually lesbians or what their sexual orientation is, but they played it very well. Like they were very much so believable in their.
It was adorable.
Coy with each other, and like being they're back and forth. It was perfect. It was perfect.
They had a really great chemistry and really good rapport. And
like everything in this show, when it's going really good, it's about to get really bad.
Yeah, there's definitely peaks and valleys emotionally in this show for sure. Belly Ramsey was so good in this episode, especially. Just to jump ahead, like in the moment where she tells. She knows that Storm Reed Riley is going to be leaving off for the Fireflies, but they have this really fun dance dance sequence in these Halloween masks, and Ellie says, "Don't go," and Riley says, "Okay." I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." She decided to stay, and you can just see in her face. Just I don't know, she does a lot with a little, just in a couple of lines you can see all the emotionality in that moment and what it means to her that she decided to stay. But then it gets really sad immediately afterwards.
Immediately,
they both get bitten by a little zombie dude that's been hanging out.
Just a little zombie dude.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that like I was Pauly Shore and
a little silly zombie guy.
Yeah. What did you guys think of this last moment between those two? Because we don't have to see Riley turn and then see Ellie kill her and all that. It's kind of implied that that's what happens, in my opinion. But what did you guys think of this last moment between the two, Mariana?
I thought it was perfect, and again the kind of shit that I wish The Walking Dead had done more, where it's it's the same thing with that show, where it's I think several people I've talked to dropped off that show when Carl killed his mother, and that's exactly the kind of scene that doesn't need to be there, yeah. You can understand that something bad happens to Lori. She doesn't make it,
right.
we don't need to see somebody go through the trauma every single time,
Yeah.
I'm so glad they didn't do that, because we just watched that whole thing with Henry and Sam and going through. Oh my God, that was a devastating episode. You know.
Yeah.
And we don't need, if you do that all the time, it starts numbing you to the process. And I don't know, like, there are certain seasons of The Walking Dead where I think that numbing kind of works really well, and it's really interesting, and like, you know, like poses further questions about the nature of mortality or whatever. But like, that's not what this show is about, and I appreciate that they realize that enough to not make us watch Ellie kill Riley. It's unnecessary.
Because in The Walking Dead, it just everything becomes like a trope because you do it so much, because it's lined up so often. You're just like, well, this dude about to die. You know how I know? This is how they killed what's his name in last season. This is how it happened. Look, I'm trying to tell you, he's gonna die.
Exactly.
He's gonna die.
It's like, hey, we got to keep the show going. You know, there's I mean, that's the benefit of having a show like this be done through a company like HBO instead of AMC that just wants to keep things going as long as possible.
Yeah, because HBO, as we know, HBO doesn't give a shit about anything continuing. They don't give a fuck. Like, they could have the best. Look at Lovecraft Country. If it doesn't matter. More subscribers than we've ever subscribers? No, more subscribers than we've ever had.
Supposedly.
Ever.
I'm sorry.
What was that? Yeah, I don't know what I was. Anyway, my whole point is that.
Sorry, I was being a dick.
I don't even remember what I was saying.
HBO actually funds its shows, and you know, wants their showrunners to have built-in endings so that it doesn't run for 11 seasons. 11 seasons, Walking Dead was running, and its spin-offs. Outrageous. You know?
Yeah, way too. Yeah,
11 seasons.
Enough.
Yeah, I do appreciate that. Like, there are only 2 games, so I don't feel like we're gonna get more than maybe 3 seasons. Like, I really don't feel like they're gonna even continue the story.
Right.
You know, I think
that.
It's better for us to have a video game that's well written, made into a movie, or a television show like this, than it is for us to have a television show like The Walking Dead that ends up writing like it's a video game. Every season just ends up being about completing this task, helping this guy so I can complete this task. And then you get to the end, and then there's a big boss, and then we kill that big boss, and we find there's another big boss next season.
Yeah. and then the show ends.
Yeah.
Right,
exactly. Yeah, it's a very good point, because like we criticize like other shows about having that same sort of formulaic story beat by beat, like it is a video game. But I do feel like video games or TV shows are a good medium for video game adaptations, being able to tell those long form stories. Because you're playing video games with like 15 hours of gameplay. It doesn't really translate well into like a movie per se. But I feel like being able to take those interesting stories and putting them in a serialized TV show that's limited, that's not going to go on for 15 seasons or whatever, works really, really well. But
Unless it's Halo. That was a terrible fucking...
Well, yeah, in the right hands.
Terrible
Hard agree.
terrible TV show.
I mean, listen, like all I want out of this lifetime is a good Fallout adaptation. And I know Amazon is working on one, but I don't have faith in Amazon to do it
Amazon's
properly.
working
So
on
it. You know what?
I know, but I don't.
They've done some good stuff and some bad stuff. Yeah.
As a person who has a lot of friends who are Fallout fans and played the game a lot, I would not be mad if that TV show was like every episode it was a good 7 to 6 minutes of just watching some dude run in the middle of nowhere, just walking, him just walking and just like running every once in a while.
It's a lot of the game.
That'd be
Yeah.
I would love that. I'm not gonna be. I would not be mad if that's what they did. Like, or if like every commercial break he's just running. He's just running.
Critics are
and
stunned.
He's just running.
They don't know what to make of it. Is this genius? But yeah, like at the end of this episode, we do get like it flashes back to or it cuts back to the present day where Ellie, she's no longer able to like let of someone she cares about die or let go of someone she cares about. She cares too much about Joel.
She can't give up
on him. She can't give up. I don't know what song that was. But yeah, like Ellie, she goes, she searches far and wide. She finds needle and thread, stitches up Joel, and he looks like he's at least better than he was at the beginning of the episode. He's not going to die.
He's not bleeding out, and he's not going to die.
He's going to be okay.
They paid Pedro Pascal a lot of money, and he's not going to die.
No, that I think is a slight weakness of this episode. That like, it might be the only thing that I didn't quite gel with me with this episode is like, the framing device didn't make that much sense to me because I knew he wasn't going to die, and I also didn't have that context of the game of like, where am I with this flashback? That didn't quite make sense to me because I haven't played the game.
Right.
But also that like, yeah, she like, begged and pleaded to go with him instead of Tommy in the previous episode. Like, no, she's not just going to leave him there. Like that's, I don't see how that's a big shift from, it's not exactly a, groundbreaking character beat.
Exactly. Like, to me, that's the exact same reason that didn't work with the, like, in the previous episode with, is she going to go with Tommy? Is she going to go with Joel? Like, Tommy ain't in the billboard. I ain't never seen. We in LA. Have never seen Tommy on no billboards. Like, she not going with Tommy. She's not going with Tommy. Like, he's not gonna die. He's not going with Tommy. Like, it's just like right. I'm not
the two of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Like, so I don't know. That one part was like, okay. At least
it's fine. Like I get what they're trying to do, and I like what they're trying to do. So
we're just being critical.
Yeah, the bookends of the show,
being babies about it.
Exactly. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that movie. The TV show, The Critic, on Comedy Central.
How old do you think I am?
Lovitz.
I just said I don't know if you're old enough to remember. I don't know. I can't assume.
I don't. So.
So gentleman never asks. No.
I also didn't want to be like, you ain't old enough to remember no goddamn critic. You don't know nothing about no critic.
Like at the end of this episode, like the bookends of this episode are probably like the weakest parts, because one that wound looks way better than it did at the end of the last episode. It looked a lot more gnarly at the end of last episode. Yeah,
it's like, because it's in his contract, Alex. It's in his contract. The wound can't look too bad for too long. Otherwise, people think he's weak. Mandalorian ain't weak, man.
Yeah, I did hear that he got injured in a different way in the game, and the reason that they changed it was apparently it was way more intense in the game, and like they didn't expect audiences to believe that he would survive.
He fell into some rebar. He falls off of a second story of something in the game and falls onto some rebar, and it goes through him. But it's the same area. The wound is in the same area, so she has to do the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I see why they changed that.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's pretty. Intense.
He probably would have just died immediately. Yeah,
I don't think a fellow comes back from having their liver impaled.
No, I don't think a fella could come back from such a thing.
Yeah,
I've seen it happen one time, and he ain't come back from that one.
Yeah, in a world without morphine, I don't see that. I don't see that working out very well for him.
Morphine? How about antibiotics?
Antibiotics? So many.
Yeah. You know what? No, I'm so glad you mentioned drugs before we get done. I'm so glad you mentioned drugs because apparently everyone has Oxycontin of some kind, like opioid of some kind. Still, because they find Riley and Ellie find a body with the fucking pills and a fresh liquor bottle. This dude spent money on brand new, fresh ooh, good tasting liquor. They're
You
killing
want to go
themselves
out
with it.
right, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he's not
He didn't
saving up
even
his money
finish
for
the
anything
bottle.
anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And I like in that scene how like that like the kids, because they're not like kids from our world, they've grown up in this. They're just like, look at this fucker, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
killed
they've
himself
seen
with a
so much
hat.
death. Yeah.
Just take his
Look
liquor.
at this fucking loser right here. This fucking. Look, man, why did you just go out like a real G and fucking like shoot yourself? This fucking pussy over here. Yeah, they were really like, yo. Yeah, I guess you're not gonna.
hard.
This is mine now. Finders keepers.
Yeah, it is like they did say. I think it was the first episode. The only thing that they're still making are pills and guns. So that kind of tracks with the rest.
Today.
The narrative. Like there's still
Shit.
a lot of bullets and stuff. I mean,
Truly.
definitely still tracks today. Yeah, for sure. It's like this is the biggest money makers, and it says a lot about this world that. Bullets and pills are just like the only things,
you
the
know
things
what,
that matter
Alex?
the most.
Yeah,
Some people
that's
see the
interesting.
dark. Some people only see the badness in this world. I choose to see the beauty in this world.
I just see the oxy.
Clearly, they
man.
choose to see the oxy. Like, there's so much Oxycontin in this show. It's insane.
I feel like it's become a tradition to have a Westworld reference every episode. We talk about The Last of Us now. So yeah, we gotta keep it rolling.
You know what? I miss.
We miss it.
Westworld.
We miss it.
Yeah,
miss
that's
it.
yeah. What a bitter taste in your mouth. The news of that. That's
Yeah.
really rough. It's a really good drinking game to go through, to watch Westworld and take a drink every time somebody says this world.
Oh, I'm totally doing that. Oh man, I'm gonna do that. Thank you. I
That
really,
sounds like so
I
much
really
fun.
need that. I needed that. That made me feel better about it being canceled. Well, now I have to find out where I can find it because they took it off HBO Max too. They took it off.
Oh, right, yeah.
They took it off everything.
Pirate that shit. Yo ho.
Yeah, and a bottle of tequila.
That's right. You can edit that part out. I would never condone piracy.
Go out there and purchase your DVDs of Westworld.
Yeah.
Seasons 1 through whatever. But Mariana, we could probably talk about this show for hours and hours, but we really appreciate you coming on and chatting about The Last
Oh
of
my
Us.
God. Anytime. Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
been a hoot and a holler.
This
in
is
that
a
order, a hoot and then a holler. Where can the people find you on the interwebs before
Yeah,
we
don't
get
give
out?
out your
Oh,
address. Not where can they find you. Don't tell people where to
Yeah,
find
you don't have to give them your address like we did.
Let's see. Okay, so I'm on the YouTubes as the Morbid Zoo. You can type it into the search bar and it'll take you straight to my channel, is from what I understand.
Is that how it works? Oh, hold on. Can you go back? Slow down. I'm writing this down.
I never drink, and it's only because of you that I poured myself 3 glasses of wine this evening.
Well, that's
so
very
Right.
sweet.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm on Twitter as Bookeeper123 and Instagram as Mariana Colleen1. No capitalizations, no spaces. The number 1, and that's all my social media. I'm not very active, but you can follow me there if you want.
Yeah, guys, follow her out there and check out those sweet Jubilee Tubily videos. Honestly, they're really great. I think the Thing video is like the one that drew me in. And then I've since just like watched every single one of your videos because she's got really great insights on horror and just like media in general.
Thank you.
Hey, guys,
I've got one more in the pipeline. I'm in a big Hellraiser binge right now. That's what I was doing before I hopped on here.
oh gosh, Hellraiser.
Next.
That is a hell of. Okay, well, good luck to you.
Yeah, can't wait for that one. Can't wait for that
Oh,
one.
guys. And guys, we try to do this every once in a while, so go ahead and leave a like and subscribe so you can get updates on new videos. Check us out on Twitter, IG, TikTok, likewise, Apple Podcasts,
Right there.
Spotify, all the internet things at The Drunk Banthas. Until next time, stay safe, my little fireflies, and may the force be with you.